All right, thanks for coming out today, and thanks for passing the word that you've been doing so well here in the last couple of days. It's made a true impact on what's happening in the city here, and there's been a great job by so many different people. Some are in this room, some are still out there doing it. I can't tell you how many people have come together during this time frame. So I also want to thank everybody in Indianapolis for staying off the roads. It made a huge difference for the emergency workers, for the utility workers. Just made a tremendous amount of difference in that regard. So here I'm going to give you a little bit of an update status and then tell you where we're going to go from there. Right now, IPL had about 60,000 people without power. It's at about 30,000 right now. There are down power lines out there. As we said, do not touch those. They may be enmeshed with the tree branches. Make sure you're very careful. Do not touch those. Assume that they are alive. We are estimating about Thursday morning before everyone's back online. Right now, they have about 200,000, not 200,000, 200 plus additional people working right now, and there's more coming in as we speak. If people have moved to a shelter and want to know if their house now has power, the number to call is 261-8111. 261-8111, and call that number to see if your house is back up and going. Evacuation figures, 400 so far. We have a backlog right now of about 50, and we have a lot of shelter space right now. We have a lot of shelters out there. People are really coming together, as you know, with the Red Cross and the park centers and everything else. That's been very effective right now. We need to tell people, because I saw this sometimes on a couple of stations this morning. 211 is not working. They're still out of power. You need to call the MAC, 3274-MAC. 3274-MAC. We put that operational last night. We have people working up there. It's rather remarkable. My chief of staff's up there, deputy chiefs of staff up there. We have somebody who not even works for the city up there right now, filling in. A lot of other people have been filling in up there, and we have more people coming in to man that. And that's been very effective. 3274-MAC. So if you need assistance in any way, in any endeavor during this time frame, please call that number. Fire department had 925 fire or EMS runs during this 24-hour period of 8 a.m. yesterday to 8 a.m. today. That is normally about 500 runs. This time it was 925 runs, plus 93 calls related to down power lines. So they've been very busy. We also need to remember to tell people that if they are cold, if you're not moving to a shelter, if you're going to use alternate heat sources, be very, very careful with that. This is the time frame where if you're using those space heaters, we have to be very careful in how you do that. Also, animal care and control is up and operational. You can still bring animals in if you feel the need to. They lost power, but Walmart donated 10 space heaters, and it's high 40s, low 50s in there right now, so everybody's okay. But you can still bring animals in, but right now they are out of power, but they're making it all work right now. I'm going to thank the Sheriff's Office and so many other people for preparing sack lunches. McDonald's is also contributing to this effort in the shelter, so we have to give them a lot of thanks for that. Indigo is doing paratransit for dialysis only. That is all they're doing right now, paratransit for dialysis only. They are helping us, though, with the emergency runs if we need to. If you call them and say we have a group of people that needs to move, they're helping us with that. Part of the reason for that is we don't want people out. It's still, with wind chill, minus 40 right now. And being outside in such cold weather is very difficult, and so that's part of the reason for that. You know that the streets are clear, the wide swaths that are out there in the main roads. The neighborhoods are about 60 to 65% done right now. So the contractors out in those neighborhoods are still working it, but they've done a good job overnight, and they're still making it happen. But the main roads are clear, but they're still very icy, and you see that if you're out there right now, you can see that the trucks are putting down the ice, putting down the salt on the icy roads. We stopped that for a bit last night because it was so cold, the salt was not working. With the sun coming out and the temperature of what it is, we think the salt will work now, so they're out there salting the roads right now. So because of all of that, because of everything that's happened so far, and we've got a lot of the core work done, we're going to move at noon. We're going to move the travel advisory to orange. We're moving to orange at noon, so we want essential travel only. Now, when I say that, I'm still asking that businesses consider staying closed through Tuesday because the double-digit minus temperatures will still be out there. Minus 20 to minus 40 will still be out there. We're asking businesses to look at that. We've had a lot of calls today about whether my boss says I have to come into work, and we've asked them not to come into work officially. So we're asking businesses to take volunteer employees only on Tuesday, if at all possible, and putting those people in a particular situation that maybe we don't want them to be outside in the cold and not have the ability to get to work, and we have a dangerous situation. So for businesses, we're asking that, and we are going to ask the schools to close one more day also so far. Close on Tuesday also, because these temperatures are still very deadly. I know the roads look clear and the sun's out and it all looks nice, but it's still minus 40 in wind chill. Deadly temperatures, deadly temperatures. So we want to be very, very careful in that regard. Okay, I think I said everything I need to say right now. So we are moving to orange. But all that said, essential travel only. Only do what you have to do, please, so we can keep trying to get the roads clear, but also for the emergency workers and the utility workers, because there's a lot of people out there without power right now. Take any questions?
Mr. Fennick, if you could talk about the particular challenges that IPL is having to try to get people back online.
Sure. Well, first of all, we want to thank the mayor because getting our trucks to the outages initially was a pretty significant issue. And so being able to have people off the streets and be able to get the streets plowed really helps. This has turned into, in essence, an ice storm for us. As everybody knows, just an incredible wet, thick snow that is frozen onto the trees and the power lines. And one of two things is happening. Either the tree limbs are coming down onto the power lines and causing outages, or in some cases the power lines are really, really heavy and they're sagging down into the trees and causing outages. So that's the primary cause. It's spread all across Marion County, and with the extreme temperatures, it takes us longer for the restoration because our guys need to be able to stay safe. They need to be able to warm up periodically, but I can tell you that we have every available resource out there, and as the mayor said, we've actually asked for about 275 additional people to come and support us. And right now we've got 259 that are either on site or committed to be here in the next few hours. That includes 50 folks from our sister utility over in Dayton at Dayton Power and Light. And you know, that's providing a significant resource for us. But there are lots and lots and lots of outages out there, and so we just ask that people give us a little bit of time. And if you currently don't have power, you need to activate your own emergency plan. Find out neighbors that you could go to, other family members, go to one of the shelters, because as the mayor said, based on what's happened and the infrastructure damage, we're looking at probably Thursday morning before virtually all the people will be restored.
I know you don't have a finger on the pulse of all the neighborhoods, but I have an interest in the Avalon Hill neighborhood.
Avalon Hills.
Do you know how soon they might be?
No, again, I think you look at it, and if you go on iplpower.com and you look at that, you can see that the outages are spread all over the entire region. So as a rule of thumb, where there are more trees, there's more outages, and where there's more outages, it's going to take longer to be able to get restored.
Come Thursday morning, do you have any plans to actually help out in central Indiana at all, or help out other areas that are affected? Because this isn't just a Marion County problem.
Yes, once we, our first priority is to get our customers restored. Once our customers are restored, if there are other utilities that still have outages, we typically will send our crews to be able to help them and continue the restoration. But I can tell you that our customers come first.
In addition to the 275 that you asked for, so that brings a grand total of how many people are working on getting this power restored?
I don't have the exact number, but I can tell you that every available resource that we have at IPL is out there working on this stuff, and they typically work 16-hour shifts and then get a little bit of rest and get warmed up, and then they'll go back out for 16 hours. We do that 24 hours a day until everybody's restored. Thank you.
From people who say their boss is threatening to fire them if they don't show up to work. What's your recommendation that people can be ticketed for driving on the roads to answer that one.
They can be, but don't expect that to happen. Okay, we got done what we needed to get done to get the roads cleared and get the emergency workers. And at noon, I mean, we can go back to essential travel only. How people interpret that again, it's. You know, I've heard that a few times over the last day, but, you know, it bothers me that people are saying, gee, I have to do this or I'm going to get fired. Those bosses need to rethink that. To be frank with you, it's minus 40, 10 minutes, you could be dead if you're not properly clothed. And so we have to be careful about that sort of thing.
Did the city end up writing any tickets to anybody?
I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. I know other people were doing it, but we weren't doing it. And the people responded. Even yesterday afternoon before we went to red, it looked like most people were heeding the warnings, and I was very pleased about that. But when we went to red, it cleared out completely, and it had a dramatic impact, being able to get people to shelters, being able to respond to emergency calls. It was pretty impactful.
You mentioned the 400 people going to shelters. How late are they open now, and what's available for folks?
They're open until they need to not be open anymore.
Were they open throughout the night last night?
Yes, as far as I know. Sure.
Are you still getting calls from people needing rescue? And
Yes,
talk,
yes.
Talk us through what happens in those kind of situations.
Yeah,
how
there you
long
are.
they need
Okay.
to wait.
Yeah, what we're doing is they're calling the MAC, the 327-4 MAC, and notifying them that they need assistance to be evacuated from their residence and taken to a shelter. We're dispatching National Guard units with sheriff's deputies, and now we have fire units and EMS units that are also going out, and then we have some district IMPD cars that are four-wheel drives going out and picking up each one of them and taking them to Red Cross if they need long-term stay, or if they're just if they say, well, I just need a short term, somebody's going to come pick me up. If, you know, I'm going to go to a relative's house, then we'll take them to one of the warming centers in the parks.
Any estimates on how many people you've been able to kind of take through that process so far?
We're going to be over 400 as of this morning, and it's going to continue to grow. We had 350 as of 7 a.m. and now it's over 400 now, and then we're expecting quite a few throughout the day and throughout the night because it's going to even get colder. A lot of times we're hearing people are losing just heat, maybe not power, so they're not able to heat their home, and we don't want them to switch to a fire, setting a fire in their house or anything like that. So we're going to try and get them out as fast. We worry about carbon monoxide type issues if their furnace goes out and they're still trying to push it. So.
Greg wants to talk a little bit more, but this is something we were afraid about yesterday also. As far as we know, it has not happened, is that, you know, people have the heat out and they want to go into their car in their garage and turn it on. Not a good idea. Okay? Some people think there's gas in the car and get heated up, but we're afraid that's going to happen in a garage, a closed garage. Obviously, that's very dangerous. Okay? And Greg Finning wants to talk a little bit more here.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. The mayor had mentioned about calling 261-8111 to find out when your power is going to be restored. I want to give you a little bit more detail on how that works. If you call 261-8111 during the day, our customer service reps will be able to code your account. And then when your power gets restored, an automated system will then call you back to tell you that their power is on. So the customer service rep is not going to be able to give you any specific estimate about when your power is going to be on, but they can put you into the system to be able to call you, especially for those people that are staying someplace else or a shelter, that your power is back on when it gets restored.
Can you guys talk a little bit more to the roads, what we're seeing for the residential and even some of those side roads? I know you mentioned it's a little bit icy, but a lot of people can't really see past their own neighborhoods.
Right. So we have, contractors out doing the residential streets. About 65%, maybe 70% now are done. We're continuing to finish those. The main roads we feel are very passable, drivable. They are slick, so we want people to slow down and drive reasonably, but, you can get around on those main roads.
Are we still saying four-wheel drive type vehicles, or
Oh.
are you guys still expecting anyone at this point?
No, I've been out in a regular vehicle, and it was fine. So.
But even though they are wide open, that's a sheet of ice. People need to understand that. It's a sheet of ice.
What about the folks, you've asked people to park on, not on the street, but a lot of people had no choice, and coming in, you could just see them covered in snow.
Yes.
What's next for them? They just have to dig out, or?
They do have to dig out. And again, if they're elderly or if they're people that need help, they can call emergency management. And, there are people that can help for emergency situations, certainly. And it's unfortunate, but it's hard for us. We'll drive out of the way a little bit if we can. I was out in a plow for about 6 hours yesterday, and it's really hard. You see some people digging out as you drive by, and so they'll try to take a wider swath, but we got to get the streets cleared.
What kind of challenges are you facing right now with equipment, with people, with supplies, salt?
We don't have any major issues. Resources are fine. Salt's fine. There's some equipment breakdowns. Those are natural. We've got our great fleet system that repairs those quickly. They're up and operating 24/7. So, of course, there may be a little bit of fatigue with some of our drivers, but they're pros. This is what they live for. They love it. And so I'm encouraged how well things have gone, and a couple more days and we'll be through this.
Okay.
Expectations for noon when everyone might kind of head out there on the road, or anything you want people to remember?
Well, I don't want I'm hoping there's not a mass exodus out the door to get on the roads. Again, essential travel only. We want people to be careful, and to be frank with you, I still want people to stay inside today. It's very, very cold. It's not the snow or the ice. It's the cold. That's the real killer here. We've got to be really careful with that. That's really what I want to tell them. And if you have to go somewhere, go ahead, but only if you really have to go. I mean, if it's a choice between you're looking at this meal or this meal, well, go with this meal if it's in your house already. Don't go to the grocery store if you don't have to, okay? The grocery stores have done very well in the last 4 days, so they've been very busy, and they're good. And we went and stocked up ourselves, and they did a great job. Frankly, grocery stores did a great job. I'm very proud of them. So.
Any update from police? I don't know if they have guys doubled up in the cruisers, or I know there was obviously an incident last night, but kind of what's been happening for you all?
Officers done a tremendous job, and I think the mayor's right. The citizens have stayed in, which made our job much easier. Our call volume is down. And I think that right now we have the advent of having support from the National Guard. Sheriff's Office has stepped up, as indicated earlier. And pretty much, again, we thank the public for adhering to the warning the mayor has given to us.
Okay, I want to reiterate how many people have done a great job. A lot of people standing here beside me, a lot of people that are not in this room are operating on little to no sleep. I know at least one of the people behind me has operating on no sleep for quite a while now. And there's a lot of people out there doing that for the benefit of all the citizens. So we need to be able to thank them appropriately for what they've been doing on behalf of the rest of us. So appreciate, and I really do appreciate the media covering this so well and getting the word out. It's extremely important, and it really helps tremendously when you're able to do that. Thanks, everybody. We'll be around for individual if you need it.